If you want more content from We Studios, check us out at our website, weepodcast.com. That's WEE podcast.com. You can find our Twitter, our Reddit, everything over there. Our Simpsons podcast, worst episode ever, our sync points, everything. Everything must go.
Everything we got. We're having a fire sale on WePodcast.com.
Get it while it's hot.
While you're there, if you feel like spending some money, just click our Amazon links or just go to amazon.wepodcast.com and shop like you normally would. We get a small cut, keeps the show free. This wonderful show that you're about to hear.
60 minutes are on the clock and straight out of We Studios. This is 90s Percentile. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we're talking everything 90s and maybe also everything before and after.
And that's right. And this week, our guest is the internet. We are Periscoping this live. We're live streaming this to 8 people, 7 of which are bots, and 1 is left foot.
Right. So thanks,
Nialo,
Left Foot.
sorry, you're definitely a bot. You're definitely a hot butt bot. Hot butt bot.
Hot butt bots.
Hot butt bot.
Absolutely.
Sure, whatever.
It got hot in here real quick.
Yeah, we just turned the air
As
off.
it usually does.
We're talking fast because we want to get to at least 1, maybe 2, 3, 4 of your listener topics. Because
it's been a while, and we haven't done any non-guest episodes in a long time. And I know a lot of guys, we have 800 topics that you guys have suggested.
Yeah, so we want to power through them.
And lately, guests have been suggesting topics, and we've been just doing the one. So we do want to power through at least a few.
We do that.
Oh. Before that,
we have to. We talked a few weeks ago about how we're going to have. We were going to eat a bologna sandwich live on air.
We did,
basically because we haven't had. I haven't had a bologna sandwich. I was thinking about this. I would say at latest when I was 15 years old, which was 17 years ago.
Right, and I probably haven't in at least 10 years. I don't know. There was definitely a part of my life when I was eating a lot of bologna.
Do adults buy bologna? I bought some olive loaf.
I feel like adults buy bologna. Who's belying this bologna
I don't know.
if it's not the adults?
Well, adults are buying it, but for kids.
For children. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess how often do adults make their own sandwiches?
Oh, I do every day. I make a turkey, avocado, and cheddar sandwich for breakfast. But I would never I'd use turkey or maybe salami. I would never use bologna.
Yeah.
There's
Bologna
something
is
gross about it.
It's a lesser cold cut.
It's
That's
greasy.
for certain.
It's slimy. So anyway,
You're making me hungry, Jack.
I know. So I packed us a lunch.
Yeah. After a couple of weeks ago, we decided eating on air went so well that let's do it again and eat a sandwich this time instead of a cupcake.
So this is terrible for me for a couple of reasons. One, because I hate people watching me eat, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
That's true.
And now I have thousands of Periscope viewers right now. That says thousands, right?
Yeah, that's 1,000.
Yeah, so I have a lot of people watching me eat, which first of all is just making me self-conscious, and I hate it. Second of all, I really don't like bologna, and we're using white Wonder Bread, which I also haven't had in 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
And I have a really strong gag reflex. We were talking about this before we started recording anything. You were surprised that I gag at the thought of things.
The thought of bologna was making you...
Brushing my teeth, I gag. I have a very strong gag reflex.
Right.
I would be terrible at sucking penis.
But pretty much, yeah.
I would be. I give
like
bad head.
It's true, you do.
Yeah. I give great foot.
You give great helmet.
Yeah. But I give bad head. I gag too much. And the thought of eating this bologna right now...
I'm legitimately hungry, and I kind of am excited to eat a bologna sandwich.
All right, well, I packed you a lunch.
I noticed.
It says
Danny and Jackie boy.
Our class, We Studios, and you can open up the lunch, and I made us some sandwiches. I put in a beverage. I wanted to get Pepsi Blue because that was the episode we talked about.
Did you leave a note in here for me?
I might have left a note.
Danny, I'm very proud of you. Have a great show. Love, Jack. He really did. Thank you, Jack.
Well, I wanted the authentic brown bag. This is a brown bag for our audio listeners.
This is a yes.
I wanted an authentic brown bag experience.
And you've certainly delivered. My mom, this is a little bit better because my mom would just, don't fuck up. Make sure everything's okay.
Is that really? You're just stealing that from The Simpsons?
I'm basically just stealing from The Simpsons.
I did get touching notes from my mother.
So we did actually get Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah, so I wanted to get Pepsi Blue
our,
because the
lunch here.
Pepsi Blue episode is where we first talked about eating bologna sandwiches live, and they don't make it anymore.
They don't.
So fortunately, they have Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal Pepsi recently came back, so this will be good to have a live on-air taste test.
When's the last time you've had Crystal Pepsi?
1992 when it was still
same,
around the first time.
I think the only time I ever had it because we didn't drink soda in the house was when we spent a week down the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
So one of those is mine, one of those is yours.
So I see that this one is it just a half a sandwich? This one seems to have a lot more bologna, maybe not.
No, they're the exact same.
They're equivalent. All right.
Literally the same sandwich. I just cut it in half.
All right.
I cut it into triangles like you like.
Like I like. You left the crust on, which I also like.
yeah,
Someone said we should get some Ecto Cooler, which we should have. I've been trying to find Ecto Cooler since the Ghostbusters movie came back. I have not been able to find it anywhere. I think you got to buy it on Amazon or something. So you click through Amazon.wepodcast.com.
What is it? It's high C orange?
Yeah, it's like an orange tangerine kind of flavor. Yeah. But anyway, so in a moment we're going to get to your 90s topics. I can smell it. But first, I'm going to take a big bite of this delicious bologna sandwich. Can I have that mustard, Jack?
Yeah.
This smells good to me. I'm kind of excited.
Oh, it's so gross. It looks like flesh.
Oh, I almost got mustard all over all over We Studios. But yeah, if you guys are new to the show and you don't know what the hell's going on, it's not always about eating bologna sandwiches. We are going to take your 90s topics.
The smell is this.
We have just finished transporting our website. We now have an actual permanent website at wepodcast.com.
Oh, it's disgusting.
So you can get all the 90s percentile episodes there. You can submit your topics there and also get our Simpsons podcast. But we'll plug all that at the end of the show. But we're going to jump into one of your topics in a moment. First, I'm going to take a bite of this delicious bologna sandwich.
Do you want my sandwich? I'm only taking one bite, and I don't even know if I'll be able to get that down.
I do want your sandwich.
All right, so do you want me to break it off then rather than bite into it?
Yeah.
Kind of a germ guy. Here, you have this.
Dead air on the podcast as I chew bologna.
I'm trying so hard not to throw up right now.
This is delicious. I'm loving this. I haven't had a bologna sandwich in forever.
What is bologna?
It's just like probably processed hog anus.
Hot butt.
It's hot butt.
Hot hog butt.
It's hot hog butt. It's hot hog butt. This may be the worst episode of the show. This was not a good idea.
The mustard smells too, or is that the bologna?
Like you may puke.
I really.
Jack may actually puke.
Let me lube up with some Crystal Pepsi.
I'm enjoying it. I'm really hungry.
Ooh, that is yummy. It tastes like remember those jawbreakers that were metal? They looked like metal balls. They looked like steel ball bearings.
Yes.
And they were soda flavored jawbreakers.
Yeah, I was never a big fan. Is that what this is going to taste like?
That's what this tastes exactly like.
All right, let's try. So we're trying Crystal Pepsi on air.
Let us know on Periscope. Were the metal ball bearing jawbreakers just a Staten Island thing, or was that a 90s thing? Was that all over the country and the world?
Maybe I haven't had Pepsi in a while, but
this doesn't taste like regular Pepsi.
It tastes a little bit different from regular Pepsi.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it supposed to? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more citrusy, right?
I thought that was Pepsi
did a
Blue.
whole episode on Pepsi.
Yeah, but that was like forever ago.
Remember the Nazi video?
Yeah, I do remember.
All right,
I vaguely remember the Nazis.
Here we go. I'm going to try not to throw up on the internet.
Let's see it. Jack's taking a bite of a bologna sandwich. I don't remember why we're doing this, but I like that you've committed to it. You actually bought the bologna?
It's mostly mustard.
You're putting it down. You like the mustard taste. You're not thinking about the hog anuses at all. Oh, really? Oh, shit. I don't want you to puke because I will probably also puke if you puke.
It's a mental thing. Once I decide I can't swallow something, I can't.
Right.
It's like when I finish.
You can do it, Jack.
Even if it's food I like.
You can do it, Jack.
If I decide I'm full, suddenly I can't swallow another bite.
There's still some in your mouth. You got to swallow it all. I'm gonna keep eating because I'm greatly enjoying the sandwich. Tastes like hog anus.
All right, I made it. I can't do shots anymore. I gag with shots too.
Really?
Yeah, I don't drink like I used to. Obviously.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Actually, I drink more, but it's like by myself in the dark on the living room couch. Like,
Right.
You know what? We hung out. We watched a movie we're going to talk about very briefly last night. I had 8 beers. Like they
Really?
creep up on you. Yeah,
They do creep up
But
on you.
anyway, I don't drink like a sorority girl anymore.
Right.
And now when I try to, I do get shit.
You're not having Midori sours and
I like
slippery
Midori.
nipples.
But yeah, I get nauseous when I do shots, and it's a mental thing.
Yeah,
If I'm enjoying myself, I can do 6, 7 shots.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I'm old. I can't do shots anymore. So
Right.
just the thought of doing a shot, I mentally start gagging. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
And I'm having the same problem with the bologna.
Well, you've finished your bologna quota for the day, Jack. So congratulations.
My little corner of a bologna triangle
that was
sandwich.
more than half mustard. You did it. So Yeah.
I cheated. I did cheat. Although I said I wasn't going to do the Wonder Bread, and I did the Wonder Bread.
Yeah, right,
So,
right.
You know.
All right, guys. We should probably jump into a topic, unless you do want to talk about that movie we watched
Let's
last
talk
night.
very briefly about it because we had a very passionate response to it.
Yeah, I mean, last week we were talking a little bit about Batman. Guys on the Periscope, you haven't heard that episode yet, but it's something that happened. You guys probably listened to it if you're listening to this as a podcast.
Yeah, check out that episode. Drops tomorrow, and it's a really good one with a special guest. So check that out.
It would have dropped last week if you're listening to this, not
the
live.
audio of this. Yeah,
But yeah, so we watched Batman: The Killing Joke last night.
yeah. Famous
And
comic.
I would say that we had low expectations, and they were not met.
Yeah. No, it was
was
the
terrible.
worst. It was
was
the
really
worst
bad.
animated DC movie ever. And we love
Yeah, I
Mark
haven't
Hamill.
seen all
we
of
love
them, but
Kevin
it was
Conroy.
my least favorite by
we
far.
love the animated the Batman the animated series. We love all that.
Yeah.
This really was just awful writing. It was offensive.
The animation didn't look very good.
The animation was not great, but that's
Yeah.
par for the course for these DC animated
Yeah.
movies lately. But the writing was offensive. It was just Batgirl was just really poor. We rented it on Amazon, which you should do if you don't have Amazon Prime.
Amazon.wepodcast.com.
Yeah, if you don't have Amazon Prime, go to amazon.wepodcast.com.
.com.
Yeah. I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna duck out while you.
no.
Do we? There's not much more we need to say about Killing Joke, right?
No.
All right. So it was really terrible.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Yeah, it's not worth the $5. All right, I'm going to duck out of frame.
Are you going to go puke? Is that what's happening?
No, I want to floss. Somebody said, by the way, nice job on the website.
Oh, thank you.
So that's
It was
all.
a huge
That's all
pain
Dan.
in the ass
That's
to
all
do that.
Dan.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
check it out,
the
wepodcast.com.
Barbara Bruce relationship was terrible. The whole first act with Barbara Gordon was terrible. It was really bad. Mark Hamill was the voice. The voice acting wasn't great.
The first half an hour is all about Barbara Gordon, and then she's gone. She's not in the rest of it after she gets shot. Spoilers, but not really, because it's the most famous thing that happens
And
in
it
The Killing
added
Joke.
nothing. The Red Hood flashbacks didn't. I don't know. It was just really poorly done.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, I don't like people watching me eat, and I'm very self-conscious about food being in my teeth, so I'm going to
Yes.
duck out of frame, I'm going to floss, and I'll be right back.
All right, should I pick a topic while you're doing that? All right, so I'm going to go into the random topic generator. Let's get our actual first topic going. This is probably the worst episode we've done to date. Okay, so here we go. We have our first topic. It's sort of one that we've done before, but I think we could talk a little bit about it. The topic comes from Kinky Ken, so thank you, Ken. And the topic is how porn became more readily available changed your life. How porn becoming more readily available changed your life.
Oh, great.
So we did kind of talk about this many, many moons ago with our guest Dan Ozzie.
Spend a couple more minutes on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You know, it's so strange that porn is available like nonstop. I was actually just reading I'm on Reddit a lot, and on they had the TIFU, the Today I Fucked Up Reddit, and someone was writing about how he went to college. He put all of his porn above a tile above his bed in his old room. And he had like stacks and stacks of magazines and things like that. And one day he was at college, he kind of forgot about it. His mom called him and was like, "I was, cleaning your room, and
Oh, no.
the roof collapsed, and all of these magazines fell on me."
Oh, she was literally like showered.
She was literally showered in pornography,
That probably
and
had his like DNA on
probably
it.
had his, it was crispy. That won't happen anymore. Like that. That kind of thing will not happen anymore. Like, you may have your parents would find like a drive of porn, but even that is
I guess
like,
you're right. Kids don't have magazines anymore,
kids
right?
don't even have drives anymore. Everything is just in the cloud. It's
cloud.
all streaming pornography all the time. Like, even the way that porn has changed in the last 5 years is big.
How
Like
many
the way that
the VR porn.
well, I mean, that'll certainly be big, but the way that like we are nostalgic about like the hotbox cable porn and like watching Skinamax late at night or finding a magazine in the woods or something like that,
finding a magazine in the woods.
it happens.
No, it doesn't.
I definitely right in tons of people find porn in the woods. I definitely
Really?
did. Oh yeah,
Like bear porn? No. Like grizzly bears?
it's not like created in the woods. It's not like grizzly bears
It's
are
like,
fucking.
like tree gnome porn.
I would love that if there was
Tree
just
gnome
gnome
porn.
porn and that you'd only get it in the forest.
I bet you we can't use our big board today because we're using it for the Periscope, so I can't look this up. I bet you there is David the Gnome porn, like him and his wife. Like
I got my computer. I'll look it up.
the fox is having sex with them, like some bestiality anime porn.
This is definitely an instant for private browsing. So I went incognito on Google here.
I'm sorry, I had to chew some gum on mic. I'm sorry, I had to get the bloody taste out of my mouth.
So I'm Googling David the Gnome porn. and I'm just going to do image search.
Getting that 90s nostalgia.
I mean,
What's that say? How about I slap your shit?
it's a picture of David the Gnome, and it says, how about I slap your shit? And then there's just kind of generic porn everywhere.
What's that? What's that explosion with the guy walking away from the explosion? What is that?
That looks like...
Scarlett Johansson? Nicolas
Gruber?
Cage?
I don't know what that is. Anyway.
Yeah, I was right. There's totally one with tentacles.
Yeah.
I called it.
So yeah, there is David the Gnome porn out there if you're so inclined. But going back to my point, I think that the way people our age got their porn when they were teenagers, like let's say you're...
I can't look at the Bologna. I'm sorry.
Let's say you're in your like early 20s now. When you were like 15, you had porn readily available at your fingertips, but it was different.
No pun
like
intended.
That's right. It would have been like it's so much different now because you used to have to download porn, right? Like remember, like
we have
Kazaa
we have
and
a
BitTorrent.
we have
and
a
now you just stream
teenager.
it.
We have a Left Foot is one of our redditors, and he was
a
just
Periscope viewer right now.
He was periscoping and looked like he was about to start telling us a story about how people his age do porn. I don't know. We did lose 2 more listeners, so
Yeah,
it's indicative.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I guess you're right. It's funny. We've talked about this on the show before. I think where I used the same Playboy magazine over and over for years, and it was my uncle's that he didn't know I knew where it was, and I would go
Right.
down and
Yeah.
use it. And like I have those images burned into my brain.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I can't. I don't know. I feel like it's gotta fuck you up if you're young. Like to have all those options. It must make real sex less exciting.
Well,
Right?
that is a real thing that I've heard that there's been research about. Like the fact that people have porn all the time, you have unrealistic expectations about what sex actually is, and like
Yeah, Left Foot says people my age do watch porn and do it often because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Even when it wasn't easy, we did it often.
yeah. I mean, it's porn,
Yeah,
and now it's free and it's everywhere. Like it's hard not to do it often.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you're seeing. I'm trying to put this in a way that's like not going to
It's almost
put me
more-
in jail, but I'm sure you're seeing your classmates, even like in
Yeah.
junior high, you're seeing your classmates nude a lot more than you would. Even if you were the most extroverted student and you were great with the ladies, that you probably weren't getting pictures of them naked.
Oh, you're saying like kids in high
I
school
think
now are
they're
taking
sexting.
like sex pictures?
Yeah,
and sex
junior high.
I sound like the oldest man alive. They're sending their sex pictures. Send me those hot butt pics.
Yeah, the Snapchat nudes, which was, so that's a completely different way of growing up. We had to
You're
work.
right.
I remember we spent an entire evening playing Truth or Dare, working our way up to asking one girl to show us a nipple. Like
We did?
no, not we, me, and you,
oh,
but
okay.
like
I was gonna say, I don't remember that, and I would never forget it.
collective like 12-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And it was like you had to ease it in with like some easy.
Right.
Like, I dare you to stand on your head.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And then after like 2 hours, finally
I
you
dare
get
you to fuck everyone in the room.
Exactly. Yeah.
a big
Whereas
jump.
and now they're all just snapping
They're
nudes.
just snapping their titties all night long. But what I was saying before, I think I lost my point now. Yeah, I lost.
It's easier now.
It's easy. It's so easy.
And they're not as excited.
How easy it is to get porn now and how hard it is to avoid porn is inversely proportional to what it was when we were kids.
What do you
it
mean,
was
how hard is it to avoid porn?
like porn is readily available. You just type boobs into Google. You'll get some boobs.
Yeah.
You'll get boobs. You just type boobs into Google.
I know. We just did it with David the Gnome.
We did just do it. So the fact that it's so easy and it's all at your fingertips, it's hard. I'm saying it's almost harder to avoid and to consciously make the choice like, oh, I don't want to watch that much porn. I don't want to be exposed to that. It's as hard to do that as it was for us to get porn back in the day.
Yeah. Do you ever...
It's weird.
I don't know if you don't have to answer this question because it's
Okay.
very personal.
Okay.
Have you ever found yourself getting porned out where you just did it too much in a given week and you were just like, nothing was like, it's like, I just, nothing excites me this week.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
And I think it is something that sometimes you have to
Quint.
step away from it.
I'm not going to say which guest on the show, but there is a guest, the Pent, not the Quint. There is
Okay.
a guest who talks about the Pent where he tries to, he sees if he can masturbate 5 times in a single day. And
Wow.
and it's very difficult.
That is difficult.
It is.
Especially as you get older.
Yeah. It's just,
So enjoy it now, kids.
Where do you find the time?
Just come on everything. But yeah, I think
There
that's,
was a he. I gave it away. One of the
You
guests
did.
was a
Well,
he.
Yeah.
What's EGE, or do you mean edge?
I think he's saying edge.
What's
so
edge?
That makes sense.
Is it where you choke?
So edging is a thing. No, it's where you.
Oh, you tie a rubber band around it?
No.
What is it?
You're into some kinky stuff, Jack.
I don't know.
Edging is just kind of, instead of finishing the whole affair, you stop right before the end and then like cool off. And then like kind of do it again.
Oh, that seems masochistic.
It's something.
I mean,
it's a thing that kids are doing.
I will certainly slow down if I'm getting too excited to prolong the experience. But
I'm getting uncomfortable talking about our masturbatory practices.
I wasn't talking about masturbation, but I don't think that's edging. That's just trying to keep the woman satisfied.
Right. Edging is when you're doing it by yourself, kind of as a training for the big game, let's say.
Well, at
least that's how I think.
I just want to get it over with so I can get back to watching my shows, my stories.
So, I mean, sometimes you just do want to get it over with. It's just, I got to go to work or something.
Exactly.
It's like, I gotta come record a podcast with Jack. I gotta just finish up.
Did you wash your hands before you touched that bologna?
Nope. Yeah.
Edging is preseason practice. That's interesting. Okay.
So that's how I would say porn has changed our lives since then. And we've talked a lot about porn on this show already. So
this show's about 90s. It's about childhood.
Yeah.
Porn's going to come up.
It makes sense, but we're trying to get through a bunch of topics today. I don't really have anything else to say about it. You want to move on to the next one?
We'll get some other creepy porn topics down the line.
All right. So thank you, Kinky Ken, for that topic. That
now
was a
I
good
understand the screen name.
Absolutely. So here we go with our second one. Oh, boy. Oh, it's a good one.
Procrastination. That's a great phrase.
Procrastination I've heard before. That is a great phrase. This next topic comes from Will.
Okay.
So thank you, Will.
What kind of anal lube do you use?
That's,
90s anal lube.
It's
our next topic.
It's a topic that has
crystal lube.
It's an Oozy topic.
Okay. Is it Secret of the Ooze?
It's Secret of the Ooze.
Wow.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2.
Wow.
A great film, I would say.
I was shocked when I found out that a lot of people our age were like, "Oh, that's such a terrible movie," and it's like,
because here's the thing.
I'm
saying to you, this is a great movie because I love that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I've watched it somewhat recently.
Yeah.
Not a good movie.
I know it's
very,
terrible,
very bad
but
movie.
it's still enjoyable.
You're right. It's fun in the way. Okay, the first movie is actually pretty good.
I will go on record as saying, we'll talk about the first movie. I'm sure it's a topic. The first movie is a legitimately near perfect movie. Perfect in the way RoboCop is perfect.
Right.
In like what it's setting out to do, it executes flawlessly.
Right.
Ninja Turtles is up there. Every scene is fucking stellar in that movie. The original 1990 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, and that was at the time the biggest independent movie of all time, I believe.
Before Blair Witch broke the record, yeah.
Yeah. So the sequel,
it made no. I was gonna say it made New Line Cinema, but that was Nightmare.
Nightmare on Elm Street made New Line Cinema. Yeah, but the first one was a little bit dark, and it was more kind of based on the comics, which themselves were just parodies of Daredevil and were already kind of dark. But the second one was after the show had taken off and really, really been huge.
Yeah, I mean the show had been somewhat popular
the show
when
was
the
big.
first movie came out.
Yeah. But the second one, they definitely cartoonified it a little bit.
Yeah.
They turned up the wackiness. There's a lot of slapstick. They added Vanilla Ice and added in a musical number.
Vanilla Ice gets there's a lot of slack about there being a lame rap song with Vanilla Ice.
Oh, it's a great rap song.
Ninja rap.
It's Ninja Rap, my friend.
And again, we'll talk about this when we talk about the first movie. But the first movie also has a rap song. It's just not in the movie itself. It's during the credits.
The end credits.
TURTLE Power by Partners in Crime.
KRYME.
It's a great song. It's legitimately better than Ninja Rap because it has the plot of the movie in it.
Just to illustrate how cool we are, we used to drive around our hometown blasting Partners in Crime's TURTLE Power really loud with the windows down at night, singing along. We all know the words.
Do you stand for what's right? And do it was like some weird mantra in the middle.
That's your power.
Turtle. Heroes of the half shell. They're on a mission. They got something.
The bad guys'
listen.
enemy wishing.
Yeah.
They stayed at home instead of fighting these ninja masters with moves like lightning.
Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo make up the group with one other fellow, Raphael.
He's the leader of the group, transformed from the norm by the nuclear goop. It's not nuclear. It's
Pizza is the food that's sure to please.
These ninjas are into pepperoni and cheese. Yeah.
Back to the story. It's not hard to follow.
That was the best transition in any rap song. Back to the story.
Back to the story.
It's not hard to follow.
Step on the foot. Jump into action.
Yeah.
They're going to lose traction.
Oh, put evil in traction.
Put evil in traction. Good moves fast. Evil moves fast, but good moves moves faster than light. Shine in your illumination.
If this is what the podcast is becoming, us trying to remember the lyrics to very obscure rap songs, I'm in.
The video is. I just recently watched the video.
I don't even know if I've ever seen the video
because
we'll watch it afterwards.
Yeah, well, I just watched the video somewhat recently, and it's amazing. It's the guy from Partners in Crime singing. And he's doing that thing where you're just kind of like awkwardly standing in front of a fake wall and looking at the camera and rapping. Of
course.
And like the Ninja Turtles are just like hanging out. And we got to find a screenshot of this and put it up.
Sure.
So like the turtles are just like hanging out. And there's one moment where Donatello, I'm glad we're doing a video podcast for this one. So Donatello just kind of like stares at him like curiously, but then holds it for like 10 seconds. So he's rapping and Donatello's literally like this.
Wait, while the guy's rapping, and Donatello's just in his face, like,
yeah, exactly. It's like it's his posse and they're dancing together, but for some reason the puppet just stops moving.
Right. If you're not watching the video, Jack made a very open mouth, wide-eyed gaze and got very, very close to me.
I think Batman is commenting, "Look at me."
Yes.
Sorry, did we miss a comment? Is there something you needed to say? Is the podcast two musical nerds talking? No, I wish we were musical nerds.
Not really very
Dan
musical.
might be. He's got a guitar and a shirt there. I mean, that's a podcast shirt.
This is a podcast shirt. But yeah, so let's talk about Secret of the Ooze. They definitely jumped up the silliness.
You can't
a lot.
dust us off like
some old coffee table. Since you've been born, you've been willing and able
to defeat the sneak.
Fight the weak? No.
Defend the weak.
Defend the weak. Fight for your right and your freedom to speak. Yeah, that was it.
To fight the weak. That would be amazing.
You gotta fight the weak every once in a while. That's what the Turtles are all about.
Anyway,
man.
that's better than Ninja Rap.
Yes,
but
it is.
Also,
so download that
song.
So
it's much more cartoony. They don't use their weapons. I think Lord Matthew Waite mentioned this when he was on.
Okay, so real quick, interesting thing about the Ninja Turtles. In Britain, and Lord Matthew Waite can probably attest to this if he's anywhere listening, they were not able to call them Ninja Turtles.
You can't use the word ninja.
You couldn't use the term ninja.
It's
so they were
N-word.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Which is not as good. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well. And Michelangelo couldn't have nunchucks because nunchucks were like a gang weapon or something. They were outlawed in all of the United Kingdom.
You're rated R, or not even. Maybe they're just not allowed to show them at all.
So in the show, they had to put in a grappling hook instead, which is more violent to me.
So did they change every single frame?
I think so.
I'd love to see that.
But could you imagine nunchucks
hitting somebody in the face with a grappling hook?
But yeah, hitting someone with a grappling hook is much more violent.
Yeah.
But anyway, they toned it down.
Nunchucks are like Leonardo has a katana. Raphael has size.
Right, these are bladed
If they're
weapons.
not fighting robot foot soldiers in the cartoon, they're stabbing people.
Right, and in the first movie, the Foot Clan was mostly like degenerate teenagers,
Yeah,
like Sam Rockwell, who was in the first one.
We got to talk about the first movie at some point.
Yeah, we will talk about the first movie. We're on to talk about the second one. They had to tone down the violence because the first one was a violent movie, not like it's a lot of blood, but it was... there's a lot of hot ninja action in the first movie. they fought.
There was. No, it's a really good movie. The fight scenes are amazing.
I would say it holds up. It's much better than the Michael Bay one.
The puppetry is really well done.
Yeah.
The second one.
Well, and that's another thing that changed big time for the second one because for some reason they made a ton of money with the first movie, but then they were like, we got to rein in the budget on the second one, and they didn't use as advanced puppetry, and they didn't look as good.
They had like weird yellow spots. Like they looked like they had some kind of immune disorder.
And it did, and it got worse for the third one where they really looked like cancer patients in feudal Japan, just like trying to save a princess.
Well, that was because the original script, and they went back and did reshoots and made it about ancient Japan, but it was originally the turtles get cancer.
It is radioactive ooze. Who
exactly.
knows what the long-term properties are?
Yeah, that half-life is
That's right.
5 years.
Half-life and a half shell. That was the tagline for the movie. And then
the rap was great too. They got Partners in Crime to come back.
They did.
To the story. It's not hard to follow. They're dead. They died.
It wasn't hard to follow. Into the grave.
Cancer is hard to cure. So they replaced the nunchucks with sausage links. That's awesome. But in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, none of them use weapons. And
they had the weapons, but you just didn't see them use it.
The opening sequence, they're in a shopping mall. They're using inflatable dolls. They're using a yo-yo.
Right.
They always came up with other things to hit the bad guys with.
And they also had to add in, they didn't have to, but they did add in, I think his name was Kino?
Kino was like the fun
sidekick guy.
The kid from Surf Ninjas.
Yes, who was pretty big in the 90s. I don't know his name. We'll look up his name. But he was around in a lot of things in the 90s.
So I'm guessing they did that because some studio suit said, we need a young adult in this movie that the kids can relate to, which I always hate when they do that. I don't want to relate to someone.
That was the whole point of why Robin exists, is because he's supposed to be the point of view character that the reader as a young kid can relate to.
I don't want a point of view character. I just want to watch Batman.
I like Robin. You don't like Nightwing?
I like Robin,
You like
but Robin's
Nightwing.
got 60, 70 years of backstory.
Well, that's
I
true.
typically get jealous of when there's like little. I just watched a Batman episode, the Batman the anime series.
Yeah.
and it was him with like it's called Batman. I've got Batman in my basement.
I know the episode
Yeah,
well.
and there's like two nerdy kids that are helping Batman solve a crime.
Yep,
It's like
yep.
I don't need this. I just
Not
want
a
to see
great episode.
Batman solve the crime. I don't need kids
Yeah,
helping.
I
I don't
agree
need
with you.
Penny with my Inspector Gadget.
By
I
the
just need
way-
Inspector Gadget.
That's true. And Penny ruined everything on that damn show.
Useless.
By the way,
Women, am I
Batman
right?
the Animated Series is streaming on Amazon Prime, so check that
Yeah,
out.
if you don't have
Also-
Amazon Prime, get it.
Also,
through us.
Secret of the Ooze, currently streaming on Amazon
Oh.
Prime. So check that out, too.
Maybe we should watch that instead of Killing Joke.
Maybe you're absolutely right. Ernie Reyes Jr. was Kino. I did know that.
I did know that. Yeah.
And he was, he's old now.
He's
old
you
now.
know, every year, people, even no matter how young you are, you age a year.
Really?
Yeah,
Every year?
dropping some solid insight here.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that everyone ages at the rate of 1 year per year?
Not everyone. If you're out in space and you're further from the Earth's gravity, you actually do age slower.
Okay, so that's why all those astronauts came back
Slightly,
as monkeys.
yes.
Because they reverse age
It
through
was
evolution.
the evolution gum from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
which I hope we do a sync points on someday, because I fucking love that
It's
movie.
a great movie.
But anyway, that's it for Kino there. But yeah, we got
yeah.
plenty more to talk about.
Ninja Turtles 2, New York City in that movie is a character.
I would agree with you.
I actually love the opening sequence of the movie. He's getting the baloney in my face.
Yep.
No, I actually like the opening sequence in the movie. It starts out with just a night in New York City, and this is early '90s, pre-Giuliani New York City. Kind of gross, kind of grimy, and everybody's eating
Little
pizza.
grit to it, yeah.
It shows how New Yorkers just eat a lot of pizza, and it's a fun stereotype,
Hey,
especially
we're New
with,
Yorkers, we
but
love a pizza.
it's true. It
is.
I literally eat pizza like every other day, and we have. 1, 2, 3. I have 4 pizzerias on my block.
Right.
On from here to the next intersection. There's 4 pizzerias.
Pizzerias are very prevalent. If you've never been to New York City, they are literally everywhere.
Except
And
in some
it's,
weird dead spots in Manhattan. Sometimes it's
Sometimes
like
in
you're like,
Manhattan, yeah.
I can't find some fucking pizza.
Because pizza's pretty cheap to buy. People love pizza, and it's
Yeah.
pretty cheap to make. So,
Yeah, dollar store pizza. I remember that just became a thing in like 2011. I
Yeah.
saw my first. I was like, oh my god, dollar slices. That's amazing. And now they're everywhere.
they are everywhere now.
It's good though. They're good
They're
for
not-
when you're drunk. They're just like, I need a dollar
You're
pizza.
exactly right.
I had
Sometimes
to-
you need a slice of dollar pizza.
Yeah,
You know
sometimes
what?
just-
Sometimes you're walking down Madison Avenue and you say, "Hey, I need a dollar slice of pizza,
Oh,
Mr.
God.
New York over here."
That's that. There we are.
When are they going to tell me the secret of the ooze? Which is a good point that I want to make. There is no secret of the ooze.
The secret is that they were made in it.
The secret is that it exists. So that's by definition not a secret.
Yes, Leftfoot. That's our big.
That's a deep cut. Hey, I'm just a little country lawyer. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know. I don't know the law.
We had a comment on our Periscope that was that the country lawyer character from our Simpsons show. But no, the secret of the ooze. This is my understanding from an article I read probably on Cracked like a year and a half ago. That it went through a substantial rewrite to make it more cartoony and add in the Vanilla Ice rap scene.
And the
Originally, it was going to be, I think in the movie, it's TCRI.
Yeah.
Is the company that
Yes.
made the ooze.
He's got a ring to it. For acronyms.
It does. The comics, TCRI, I think it's the Techno Cosmological Research Institute.
Wow, that's
and
impressive.
it's aliens.
Oh,
It was
so the secret should have been.
It was the Utroms, which are sort of what Krang is, these like little brain-like looking aliens. And the secret of the ooze was going to be it came from outer space.
Wow, which
But
is
they
funny
got rid
because
of
when
all of that
Michael
'cause they
Bay tried
slashed
to
the
do that
budget.
in the reboot, he got a lot of fan flack, and they
Yeah.
had to change it because that was pretty much the
Because
origin.
the aliens themselves, or the turtles themselves,
are
aren't
not.
aliens.
No, they got to be from New York.
Exactly.
So I've got 2 dreams. I guess I'll save one dream. I have this happen a lot, even to this day, when a movie's coming out or a TV show or really a movie. I dream that I'm watching the movie, and when I'm dreaming, everything makes sense. I'm like, oh, this makes sense, and then I wake up, I go, oh, that was completely incoherent. But at the time, I really thought I was watching the movie, and I was
The
like,
dream logic makes
exactly,
sense,
yeah.
but when you wake up, you're like, that doesn't
so
make any sense.
I remember before in 1990, so I was like 5 years old. I remember I watched Ninja Turtles and the rabbit, the Japanese rabbit, the ninja rabbit.
You're talking about Usagi Yojimbo?
Yeah, I remember he was in the movie, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool."
Yeah.
And then I guess because I was so young, when I finally watched the movie on tape, like a year after it came out,
Yeah.
I was like, I remember there being
was
a
a
scene
rabbit in
with
this
the-
movie.
Yeah. So Ninja Turtles 2, I had a crazy dream with Krang.
Okay.
And it looked really cool where they meet Krang. And he's like slimy and he's huge and it's like
That would have been a really cool practical effect in the early 90s.
It was like the Thing
Yeah,
type special
that could,
effects.
like,
yeah,
get Rob Bottin to
and
do
it
that.
Looked,
That looked
in
awesome.
my head, it looked so good.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I haven't seen the new Ninja Turtles movie. It's the first time they've done a live action Krang, and
Right.
from what I've seen,
But,
it
I mean-
looks worse than the Krang in my 7-year-old dream.
It must, because you say it's a live action Krang, but really it's like super CGI.
CGI,
like
yeah.
there's nothing
I
real.
wasn't
It's a-
dreaming in
it's a-
CGI at the time.
It's
yeah.
a ping pong ball in a green screen.
Yeah.
But just real quick, you mentioned Usagi Yojimbo, who was a medieval rabbit. He was actually not a Turtles character. He is also an
his
independent
own-
comic,
yeah.
still very long running series, still done by the same guy, and just was integrated into the Turtles universe kind of randomly.
It's fine. He's fun.
Speaking of Turtles crossovers, here's something interesting that I read a couple of weeks ago that maybe you don't even know exists. And it's weird that it didn't happen in the 80s or the 90s. Ninja Turtles crossover with Batman.
Wow.
And here's the
A
thing.
comic?
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, there's a Batman Predator crossover. Why not have a Batman Ninja Turtles?
I don't want to spoil what happens. Skip ahead if you care about what happens in Batman Ninja Turtles. But let's just say that
I'm not wearing turtle shells.
let's just say the Ooze comes to Arkham.
Ooh, so you get
yeah.
a mutant Joker and
Oh yeah, and they're going to do more. Like it was such a big hit that they're actually going to do another crossover with Batman Ninja Turtles. So check that out.
Yeah.
Amazon.wepodcast.com. You can get it on Amazon. That's where I got
That's very interesting.
it. Yeah. So check that out.
They should do a crossover with Wii Studios.
They should.
Ninja Turtles should cross over with Wii Studios. Dan and like a comic book Dan and Jack fight. We could be the
I
two
would love
POV
that.
characters that I hate so much.
There you go. I love it.
And like
You're Kino and I'm April O'Neil.
the turtles are like, let's have some pizza, and we're like, no, bologna sandwiches.
Yeah, we love bologna sandwiches. Yeah.
April O'Neil was recast for some reason. So there was like a token shot of her in the first movie with the trademark yellow jacket. And then Michael Bay, because he dumbs everything down, or whoever actually directed the movie, I forget. But
It was all Michael Bay. Let's just blame him.
She wears the yellow jacket the entire time. But in the second one, she doesn't have the red hair. She doesn't have the yellow jacket. She's like very 90s, like a typical 90s
By the
look
way,
to her.
I just like this comment we got on the Periscope. In the comic book, we're the heroes, and the bus stop characters from our Worst Episode Ever podcast would be the villains.
That makes sense.
I would like that.
Yeah. So no, the April O'Neil was very modern in
Right.
Ninja Turtles 2.
In
She had like a
Secret
short
of the Ooze.
90s haircut.
You're not
Yeah.
talking about Out of the Shadows, the new
No,
the new Ninja
I haven't
Turtles
seen Out
2.
of the Shadows.
I haven't
yet.
seen it either.
Yeah, Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah. I don't remember her having like the.
She had a modern apartment because her apartment burned down. In
Right,
the
right,
first
right.
one. I liked that there was some level of continuity. The
There
turtles are
was.
actually living with her.
Yeah.
At the start of the movie, and then they have to go. She's finally like, I can't live with you, turtles. So she kicks them out, and they have to find a new sewer home because
Yeah.
the Shredder knows where their sewer home is, and they find this like underground train station.
Well, I was just going to bring up the underground train station. Here's a weird
an
side
underground
effect.
railroad, if you would.
Here's a weird side effect of Ninja Turtles 2, where I wanted to live in the sewers, which is not. I mean,
Mommy, I want to live in this. I want to live in filth.
if you remove the context of Ninja Turtles, weird thing for a child to want to do. Didn't turn out well for the Penguin in Batman Returns.
Remember me? I'm Fred's hand.
But also, they found that underground rail station, and it was like, oh, we'll just live here in this like beautiful architectural marvel that's just laying underground. And I was like, my God, there are hidden things everywhere.
Because
you just have
Ghostbusters
to
2,
look.
Ghostbusters 2
Yeah,
had a
Ghostbusters 2.
hidden underground
Man,
station.
Was this like okay, we've just stumbled onto something. Weird sequels with hidden underground structures relating to Ooze
Have you
and
seen
slime.
the hidden underground station that does exist for real?
I have.
On the 6 train?
On the 6 train, yeah, I have.
So if you're from New York, or if you ever visit New York, take the 6 train. The 6 train actually stops at Brooklyn Bridge, or starts at Brooklyn Bridge. It doesn't go any further, and it actually turns around and starts going back in the direction it came from. And as of a couple years ago, they now let you stay on the train because when it's looping around, it goes through this abandoned subway station. I haven't seen it yet.
You don't see as much of it as I thought you did.
Oh, okay.
But it's still pretty cool.
There's no monsters or
There was
turtles.
a monster, but the Ninja Turtles killed it, so that was good. Yeah, so
That
come
would be
to New York
amazing
and
if
visit the Ninja
every
Turtles.
6 train, every 7 minutes, they have Ninja Turtles fight a monster.
They
for
do. It's like Disney, where they do like the parades every 10 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty great. What else can we say about Ninja Turtles 2? I feel like There's a lot to it, but
I really like it. For some
we
reason
haven't talked about Toka and Razor yet.
Yeah, we should. I don't know. I always found it almost more enjoyable to watch than the first one. Again, I think because it was dumber and it takes less effort to watch it.
Yeah,
it's
a lighthearted movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably more of a kid's movie, and I think that's why we like the first one better now.
I'm a big Raph fan. Raphael's my favorite.
Same.
Yeah, okay. So in both movies, he kind of gets a prominent solo
Not
arc.
like that. Not from you. That's from the first one, but that was my Raphael impression.
That's not bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, and he strikes out on his own in the second one, just like he does in the first one.
Right, it's kind of his thing.
Yeah, and he infiltrates the Foot, and he gets kidnapped, and then they go, it's a little quiet, a little too quiet. And I go, I think it's Raph, a little too Raph.
Great line. That doesn't make any sense.
I named one of my Jack Attack mixtapes, a little too Raph.
I love that you titled your mixtapes in high school and your mix CDs.
Oh yeah, I have dozens.
Yeah, I know you did. I'm explaining for the listeners.
One day we'll have to explain the story behind my 3 CD. There they are. There they are, you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. What are you doing? What was the third line? I can't remember.
I don't remember now, but that's a very long inside story.
I called it mixtapes. I was really burning CDs. I'm not that old.
Yeah. I made mixtapes in my time, though.
I had a couple, yeah. I would record songs off the radio. I remember I recorded that song Crush because...
Crush by...
I don't remember her name, but she was on the Howie Mandel daytime talk show that I watched every day.
Oh, boy.
And the song got earwormed its way into my head, so when it was on Z100, I taped a copy of it. It's just... a little crush every time we hug.
I don't remember that song
it's
at
a really
all,
horrible song. And
it certainly sounds like
it when I was 10, 11 years old.
Yeah. But I do want to talk about Toka and Razor. So the big bads of Ninja Turtles 2. Shredder comes back.
Mm-hmm. He didn't die after Casey Jones had crushed him in a trash compactor.
Right. That was how the first one ended. Yes. So Shredder comes back.
That's what he says.
Shredder comes back, and in the animated series, he has 2 hench goons, Rocksteady and Bebop. Pretty famous.
They're not from the comics?
They are not from the comics. They were created for the animated series.
Yeah.
And the reason why they couldn't use Rocksteady and Bebop...
Because they don't have the rights.
Because they didn't have the rights.
Right.
Now, they did use them in the most recent one, and you can get Rocksteady and Bebop are in the current Ninja Turtles comics.
I know. I really have to see Out of the Shadows because it's the Ninja Turtles 2 I wanted to see in 1992.
Right. But it's probably 25 years too late at this point, but...
Yeah, no, I know.
But they had to invent these new characters who were a snapping turtle and a wolf. Yeah,
which were the 2 meanest animals they could find in the New York Zoo, which doesn't...
Pretty big difference between snapping turtle and wolf.
Yeah.
It's like I got this tiger and this praying mantis.
I remember I hadn't watched it. At the time, it seemed like forever, but it was probably just a few years.
Yeah.
And now, time just moves so quickly.
Sure.
But in college, sophomore year, we were talking about how we hadn't seen Ninja Turtles in forever.
Yeah.
So we watched it like one night in the dorm, and we were like, "Oh my god!" Everybody was like, "Oh my god, this doesn't hold up," and I was enthralled.
And you were rapt.
But for that, it actually might have been before we started watching it. It might have been why we started watching it. But for a week, we just kept going. A line from the movie that Shredder says when he finally sees the wolf and the snapping turtle, he goes, "They are." Babies. So for a week, I was walking around NYU going, "They are babies."
I actually really liked that plot point in the movie because he's trying to make these like horrible monsters to kill the turtles, but they're baby animals and they grow and they turn into these monsters and they're still babies and they think Shredder's their mother.
Yeah, like the Ninja Turtles were babies, and in the first movie, you see them, they go, "Mama, Dada, pizza."
Yes. Yeah.
And so they had to age 50. They're teenagers.
Right.
And so they were fighting babies. There's a very strong logic to this movie.
There kind of is. Like, some of it's done very well. And I will just say really quick, I mentioned the Turtles Batman thing, but the IDW Ninja Turtles comic series that's been coming out for the past 5 years is really, really good.
Yeah,
I read that. The Batman actually ties into it. It's in continuity with that series.
I have some old 90s 80s Ninja Turtle comics. They really are solid stuff.
They are. I think a lot of it holds up, especially if you going back now. I don't know if I read too many of the original Eastman and Laird comics back in the day, but now that I have an understanding of Daredevil and what they were actually parodying, like the whole Frank Miller Ronin style.
Is that what they were doing?
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Well, so they were teenage.
Is that why the foot is actually a spoof of the hand?
Spoof of the hand, yeah.
Wow.
You just got it too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, my mind was blown when I realized that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the foot is, for people our age, is much more famous. I really don't know much about the hand until the Daredevil series, and maybe were they in the Wolverine?
They might have. I don't know actually, but yeah, they might have been in the Wolverine solo.
They might have
movie.
been in the Wolverine pinball game I played, and that's why I knew about the hand. Actually,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You know
There's-
all about the
The
hand.
foot
Jack.
is to step on the foot, and we'll step into action.
Yeah,
well,
that's where it
crazy.
came from. It came from the hand, and they were mutants because X-Men was popular, and
Oh, wow.
that's why they're mutants.
Why is there anybody blind? Who's Daredevil? There's no blind Ninja Turtles.
I guess there's no
character.
blind. Ninja
Who's
Turtles
Casey
character.
Jones?
Well, I it wasn't a direct parody. At some point, they did invent their own things.
Who's Vincent
Wingnut?
D'Onofrio's Kingpin? The rabbit was actually.
It was Usagi Yojimbo. You're right.
Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah. Yeah. So check out those comics. They are actually really good. There's this arc called City Fall that is legit great.
Wow.
So I would tell you, Jack, you specifically need to read it, but
Yeah.
you don't read things that I tell you to read.
Yeah, I'm going to read those Gotham
I gave you a
comics.
stack of Gotham Central comics before we began either
It was
podcast.
with the day we recorded our
think
second
it was-
recording session ever.
Yeah, and you still have not read them.
I'm getting. I have to finish my Vanderbilt biography.
All right, we all know. Yeah, so what else can we say about Secrets of
So
the
we
Ooze?
talked about the Ninja Rap. We haven't talked about Super Shredder. That was a pretty
we
big
haven't.
deal.
Yes, and as a wrestling fan, it's a huge
Yeah,
deal
what was it, Hulk Hogan,
no, it was
the
it was
Undertaker,
it
Andre
was
the
Kevin
Giant?
Nash,
I never heard of it.
also known as Diesel in WWF.
I
back
think I
in the
remember
day.
a lot of Diesel screen names.
But but then he was just Kevin Nash, and he went on to act in a bunch of other things. Quote unquote.
like what?
I know for a fact he was in the Dead or Alive movie with what's her name from My Name Is Earl.
RoboCop?
Yep, with RoboCop.
Jamie Presley?
Jamie Presley, yes. You remember Dead or Alive? It was a fighting game, and
at
then
all.
they made a volleyball game out of it. And like,
I don't
The
I have
whole-
no idea what you're talking about.
this was a somewhat popular fighting game in the mid 2000s called DOA, Dead or Alive. And the entire premise was it's a bunch of scantily clad women fighting each other, and they had realistic jiggle physics. Their words. So their breasts jiggled realistically.
So if you like landed on your
And they
left
made a movie
foot,
out of
if you
this.
landed on your left foot, like the left
Right, whatever
boob
the
would jiggle first, and
Whatever
then,
the appropriate boob would jiggle.
no, I don't remember DOA. It sounds vaguely familiar.
And then you could furiously masturbate to it because porn wasn't as prevalent in 2005.
There was certainly some Killer Instinct frames that I paused on, like
Wait, Killer Instinct, the fighting game for Super Nintendo?
for Nintendo 64.
Oh.
Where there was a couple times where if you did like the right kind of sidewinder kick with I can't remember the
You
names
get
of the
some
female
side boob or
characters.
something?
There was one you would see all butt. And there was
Okay,
one where you'd
okay.
get a substantial amount of side boob, and
Something you don't
sometimes
look
I
at.
paused.
Sometimes
I
you
didn't have
pause.
the internet.
You
It was
know.
just,
Why do you think Tomb Raider sold so many copies?
The worst was when I would accidentally pause like on a saber wolf, and then I had to masturbate to that. And, like that.
I
was
mean, once you've paused,
Yeah, no, I can't-
you
I'm not gonna-
have to continue
yeah, I'm not gonna
masturbating.
unpause. I
We've
don't-
talked a lot about masturbating and baloney today. This is an odd episode of the show. Really quickly, I want to mention, I believe his name is David Warner.
Warner, the voice
who-
of Ra's al Ghul
Yes,
in
the
the
voice
Batman
of
animated
Ra's al Ghul.
series. Yeah.
And he was also the voice of the Loeb on Freakazoid, which is a whole other episode. I would love to talk about Freakazoid.
He played the mad scientist that created the Ooze. I'm guessing
Yes.
that was Baxter Fly, but they didn't have the rights.
No,
no,
that's a
Baxter
good
was
question.
Baxter a comic
Baxter
character?
Stockman was a comic character, but he didn't get turned into a fly in the comics. He got turned into a cyborg, which they ended up doing in the 2003 Ninja Turtles. I know a lot about Ninja Turtles,
The
I'm
new
realizing.
movie, Tyler Perry plays him, so
Yes.
I'm sure they're going to do something with that.
Well, and he was actually black in the original comics, too.
there you go.
They changed it in the... I don't know why they made him a fly. They basically just ripped off completely the Jeff Goldblum The Fly movie.
Yeah.
And
the
just did
teleporters,
that.
yeah. I don't know, maybe there's some weird talking about the 70s blaxploitation movies, and he was Superfly. I don't know.
Okay, there's something there.
The foot's the hand. I don't know what's going on.
There's Ooze with secrets.
Alien
And they don't tell
Ooze.
you what the secrets are. Yeah, so I don't know. What else can we say?
I want to go back to Super Shredder. We talked about how he's a wrestler. But
Oh,
then
yeah,
you
yeah,
kind
right.
of just
That's what we were talking
he
about.
stopped at wrestling.
Yes. So ultimately, Shredder takes the Ooze himself and becomes
Yeah.
Super Shredder, which
Yeah.
is a gigantic version of himself.
Yeah.
And it was
That
pretty
was awesome,
scary.
yeah.
It was an awesome costume, a great action
We
figure
talked
that
about
I had.
this on the Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles
we
action
did.
figure podcast we did, but I had a Shredder action figure, and my sister got a Super Shredder action figure, and she didn't even use her action figure. She played with Barbies.
Oh, lame.
So I was so mad and jealous. I was just like, are they moderating the masturbation comments? That's funny.
That's good to know. Thank you,
So
Periscope.
apparently Periscope is moderating all the masturbation comments we're getting. They can't. At least they can't moderate us.
They can't moderate us.
Oh
So,
my-
you guys, you know when you're jerking it real hard and you go right up to the edge and then you pull way back. I don't know who this character is.
That's Dan Mulhall.
That's me.
That's the Dan Mulhall
I get
character.
really into it.
When I'm fucking my robot wife. Was the robot wife off air? I think it was.
I don't remember. It might have been. We were.
Dan's wife might be a robot.
It's
He's
possible.
Gonna divorce her and have her on the show.
We'll see what she says when
when
she's
she
on
hears
this show.
all of this. That actually,
It never fails that I am listening to a moment that we're talking about her when she is in the room and I don't have headphones on, and she's like, "What'd you say?"
I'm also gonna guarantee this is the episode our moms listened to again.
Yeah, probably.
Like last time.
Of course.
Listen to our weed episode.
Yeah, well, whatever. What are you gonna do?
We smoke a lot of pot and we jerk off.
At the same time, because that's how we do it.
Token and stroking.
That could be a podcast.
Token
that
and
could
stroking.
be something.
The weed,
There's something
the
there.
weed masturbation
Yeah,
podcast. I think this is it. We just
think
call it
this is
90s percentile.
So this is the first episode of Token and Stroking, where we jerk off to Killer Instinct.
We ain't joking.
We ain't joking, friends. Oh,
Smoking.
man. So anyway,
That's my mask impression.
got it.
That's our catchphrase.
Yeah, so Kevin Nash was in it, and Kevin Nash is a professional
Anyway,
wrestler.
Super Shredder was fucking awesome.
Totally awesome.
And he kills himself.
What, does he kill
He
himself?
knocks the pier over to kill the turtles and himself.
Well, but they like goad him into hitting a specific
Oh,
piece,
is
and
that
the
it?
pier like collapses
Okay,
on
all
him,
right.
and
It
he
was-
presumably
it was
dies.
accident. Yeah, his hand sticks out and then he dies.
But he doesn't die because they bring him back, or they hinted at him. Do you remember the 2007?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so the
They did an
2007
animated movie.
is actually
just
Ninja
called
Turtles
it was
4.
called TMNT, and
Yeah.
it was actually supposed to be in the same universe as the other three movies.
Yeah, it's
and
a
at
part
the very
4,
end,
yeah.
they were like, "Oh, Shredder's daughter was in it, right? Karai."
I don't.
think?
I saw it in the theater with you, and I haven't seen it since.
Same.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
actually
remember Patrick
surprised how much
Stewart
I
was the
remember.
bad guy.
Yeah.
I also actually mentioned it briefly on Facebook at some point. Somebody had posted, "What's a really good trailer for a movie?"
Yeah.
And the first thing I said was Puchinsky, which we'll explain. We probably should have announced that at the top of this show.
We probably should have, but we didn't.
I guess not. This is coming out a week after our other one. Anyway, so I mentioned the TMT trailer because I think it's such a solidly well-made trailer where they're doing all like really good ninja, and it's showing like this is a serious take on the Ninja Turtles.
Right.
And then Michelangelo falls into a trash can, and that's like slapsticky, and the turtle's like Mikey.
It really sets
And
the tone
it's a
for
perfect
what the
tone.
movie
Yeah,
actually
like
is.
great, like solid ninja stuff, and
Yeah.
like fun, just having fun with the turtles.
It's maybe it's indicative of the fact that we haven't watched it in 9 years. But did we enjoy that movie?
That was 9 years ago.
I remember like it was okay.
Yeah, the trailer was so good. We were expecting something really good, and we were like, that
Yeah.
was fun. We were happy it wasn't
was fine.
bad.
Yeah, it was
we were
fine.
Like there was nothing bad about it at all. It wasn't offensive. It wasn't
Right.
painful to watch. It just
But I
wasn't
think-
amazing.
I think that movie, I don't think it did that well, so they obviously didn't make a sequel.
they stopped.
But I think it did well enough that they were like, maybe there's still some legs in this Turtles thing.
Yeah. No, I was shocked the legs to the turtles.
Well,
have
and that they have the new Nickelodeon series, they have a new movie franchise. Like the Turtles are back. Like kids know the Turtles.
I remember I was 12.
Yeah.
I think I've told this story before, Joe. I was 12 and I was playing with the 6-year-old neighborhood kids on my grandma's street. And I made a reference to the Turtles, and like, what? And I go, you guys know who the Ninja Turtles are, right? And they're like, no. And I was like, that was the first time I realized I was getting old at 12.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm the last person to know Ninja Turtles. They're not going to be a thing anymore.
Right.
And then thankfully they did come back because
Yeah.
people our age started having kids. So the corporations, marketing.
the corporations, they're just like,
TCRI
That's right.
markets Ninja
That's
Turtles.
who owns the Ninja
because
Turtles
that's
now.
why these things have a resurgence. It's because the parents will buy it because they want to force their kids to like what they like.
Right, and also the Turtles, I mean, are connected to comics, and
They're still around, yeah.
There's that, comics has that perennial, like Batman never went away. He's waned and changed a lot in popularity and in
He went
style.
away for 8 years between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, if you think about it, in the Nolan trilogy, Gotham City had a Batman for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, there wasn't a Batman in the Nolan universe.
And then they make him a statue, and he retires after his 6 weeks of hard work.
Well, he did get his back broken at the end,
and
and then died. Spoilers.
he didn't die.
Supposedly.
No, Michael Caine saw
It's
him.
a dream.
It's not Inception.
It's like it's all Inception.
No, because he changed the autopilot.
Yeah. I know they had a throwaway line in there.
And who fixed the bat signal?
Wouldn't you like to know? It was probably Robin.
You should call yourself Robin.
It's your birthday. I like that we've referenced that 2 weeks in a row now.
I think we should just reference it every week in our masturbation weed podcast.
Every week we're going to start the show. I think you should choose your birthday, Robin. That's how we'll start.
He should have played Azrael.
We don't have that much time left. We got 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
What else about Secret of the Ooze? What have we missed? We talked about. Should we mention Ninja Rap? We did plenty of Partners in Crime.
Sure. I mean, I guess we didn't really talk about it. Sorry, I'm like dying. My throat is dying.
Have some bologna.
It's bologna
Did you drink all
cancer.
your Crystal Pepsi?
I did, but luckily I still have crystal
You
water.
want some mustard?
Yeah, give me that mustard. Oh boy.
Probably should go put it in the fridge. Do you want the Wonder Bread and the bologna? I have a full loaf of Wonder Bread, and I still have like a quarter pound of bologna. I don't want it in my house.
I might take it. Yeah, I might actually take
That
it
makes
because
me
I
feel
did
better
enjoy bologna.
there's no homeless people around to just give it to. We have a nice, decent. We have a decent neighborhood.
There's some down by
I
me.
know, but I don't want to go out there and give it to them.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I gotta walk
Then
all
you
the way down.
There's a whole thing.
You know, and then what do I do with the bag?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
you just
I
throw it in the wind and it flows beautifully.
Look at that bag. It's beautiful.
It is pretty beautiful. It's a good bag. No, let's talk about Ninja Rap. So Vanilla Ice. Do kids know Vanilla Ice? Do people listening
They know
even
him
know
from
Vanilla Ice?
that home and garden show he has, although that was probably
That's true.
2007. Everything's
No,
old.
that
It's
was
hard
pretty-
to,
that
hard to
was
just
somewhat
keep
recent.
up with the times.
Really quickly, I just want to mention this.
His metal song, Cold as Ice. What was it, Cold as Ice?
Okay, two things I want to mention about Vanilla Ice. Let's talk about that first, because that was also 90s. That was late 90s. After his rap career died, Vanilla Ice was a one-hit wonder white rapper in the early 90s.
He wasn't one hit wonder.
Name a second hit. That's
Yeah.
not Ninja Rap.
Ice Ice Baby.
That's the first hit. What's the second hit?
Oh, he had that. It's popular. I don't know. The name
it was
of
that song.
Yeah.
He did actually have a song. It was oh man, this is
Sweet Caroline.
That was ba ba ba. Good times never felt so good.
So good. So good. That's
That
people
was
don't know.
Vanilla
That's
Ice.
Vanilla
I
Ice,
didn't
yeah.
realize that. You're right. No, once his rap career faded a little bit, he tried to reinvent himself in the new genre that was popular, which was like new metal,
Right.
rap core, whatever the hell
Right.
you want to call it. And so he put out an album called, I don't remember what it was called, something terrible.
Sweet Caroline.
It was called Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.
So good. So good.
But he actually did a rap metal cover
Too
of...
Cold.
It was called Too Cold.
Yeah.
Was the rap metal cover of Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah, that's sad that he was trying to start a new career and he had to still use Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
But it's a terrible cover.
It's awful.
Ice Baby.
Too cold, too cold.
Ba, ba,
And he's
ba.
like, take heed, cause I'm a lyrical poet. Miami's on the scene, just in case you didn't know it. Like trying I'm totally gonna lose my voice.
It's not as bad as the new Disturbed cover of Sound of Silence. This is the sound of silence.
Play those two songs back to back, and the third song will be you blowing your brains out. Woo!
I like to
But
get
check
high
it
and
out.
masturbate to those songs.
Well, you and me both. I thought I was the only one. That's why we do this show together.
It's a real thing. We're not making a
It
joke.
is. It
It's-
really
look
is
it up on
awful.
YouTube.
So look that up. But the other Vanilla Ice thing I wanted to mention was he was filming his reality show in Brooklyn one night. And it happened to be the night, friend of the show, Dan Ozzie and I, we used to do a bad movie night in Brooklyn monthly. And we were actually showing the Vanilla Ice movie Cool as Ice, which is a whole topic in itself, which we could talk about
I'm
for
sure
hours.
it's in there.
And we tried to get him to show up because he was like down the street. He was very close by.
Like hanging out, or you live down the street?
No, he was filming his reality show, and like they were finishing for the day. And
How'd you know?
Dan follows him on Twitter.
Of course.
Yeah, Dan's big in the Twitter world, and he was trying to get him to come, and he didn't come. He almost
He didn't
did.
come to a bad movie night with his movie. I mean,
I don't blame him, but he
Yeah.
did like tweet at us, and he was like, "It's a great movie. I hope you guys enjoy it," or like something like that.
at
So
bad movie night.
yeah, pretty much. So Vanilla Ice, good guy. It seems like he knows his actual place
From
in the
what
world.
I heard, I don't know. I don't do celebrity gossip. I thought he fell off. Like he was not doing it as well as he was during that time.
Yeah, well, now you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I feel like
He's in jail or
I
something.
feel like he went through a very humble period in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean,
Guy was on top of the world, and now, he was hanging with the Ninja Turtles, which to me is being on top of the world.
I've never made millions of dollars in my early 20s. I'm sure it's.
I mean,
it's
did,
easy.
but-
It's easy to backseat quarterback and say, you should have saved the money and.
I'm not even saying that. I mean, it was a fluke, probably. He shouldn't have hit it big at all.
That's all one hit wonders.
Yeah, whatever.
Even though he had two hits, I can't remember the name of the second.
It was
Sweet Caroline.
ba, ba, ba.
So good, so good.
I really want to remember what the song was because it's actually not a bad song. Oh, it was like Play That Funky Music something.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Because he used Super Freak for not Super Freak. He used
Something like that.
Queen's.
Well, that was Ice Ice Baby.
Ice Ice Baby. He used Under Pressure.
Yeah.
So then he used Play That.
Oh,
Funky
actually, it
Music.
was completely different, Jack. Do you,
Super
do you
Freak
remember
was
this?
Hammer.
Do you remember this is an actual 90s thing where Vanilla Ice was sued for sampling...
Oh, the Ice Ice Baby, yeah.
Right,
Dun,
and,
dun,
on-
dun, dun,
and
dun,
while he was
dun,
testifying, he said, no, that's dun 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 dun. My song's dun 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 dun.
Oh no, he didn't he add an extra done too.
Yeah,
Besides
that's what he was arguing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he was arguing that was changing it. And
yeah, I
did
mean,
this under
I'd
oath.
argue too, just not get sued for
Well,
millions of dollars. I
I
mean, he's
guess.
wrong, but
But you could pay it at that point.
He's also,
he was at the height
he's
of his
also
power.
tweeting at Mad Movie Night saying it's a great
Well,
movie.
that
you
was
know,
that
you
was
have to
20
have a
years
certain
later.
level of denial.
That was 20 years
to
later.
be Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. 2 minutes left on the clock. What else
Okay.
can we say about Ninja Turtles? We got anything else? The third one, not a good movie, but we could save that. I'm sure it's a topic in there.
Yeah,
I've only seen that one like twice.
I'm trying to think what else is in the second one. We didn't really mention the Shredder's assistant, but he was in the first one too.
Right.
The junkyard scene.
I'm trying to remember. It's weird. Like there wasn't a lot of stuff.
They made
From the
Donatello.
show.
They made Donatello a nerd in the second one,
Right, and
Which
he
he
was-
wasn't in the first one. They were all kind of homogenous in the first
Well,
one.
because the first one he was voiced by Corey Feldman, and I feel like Corey Feldman had a
He's
a
too
hand
cool
in
to play
shaping the character.
Yeah, he's too cool to play a nerd. He didn't play it in the second one.
Not in the second. He did come back for the third though,
Of course, yeah.
because by that point, Corey Feldman and Vanilla Ice both needed money. Corey Feldman maybe still needs money. I don't know. We don't. We don't
I'm
know.
sure he's fine.
I always liked Corey Feldman, and I feel like he's really gone off the rails.
I think he did. I think he's come back now, right?
I don't know.
I think he's more legit now.
I feel bad for Corey Feldman because Corey Haim died, and it's
he was his best friend.
They were
yeah,
best
that's hard to
friends.
say. Apparently, they
That's very
both
sad.
got abused
yeah.
as kids, and
I feel bad, but
yeah.
Corey Feldman was in Bordello of
I was
Blood,
about to say that he was great in
and
it.
he was great in that
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, that's where I really fell in love with the Feld.
How is the increased accessibility of TMNT porn?
I bet there's TMNT porn out there.
Oh yeah, let's
There
look it
must
up.
be.
How
I don't
much
want,
time do
not
we
on my
have?
computer, my
You want
friend.
to look up April O'Neil getting fucked
right, let's look it up.
by Backs to the Fly?
Well, I was actually thinking
Is there
after
an octopus character? There's got to be some kind of tentacle porn.
there might be an
I
octopus
assume
character.
everything has tentacle porn.
I feel like we're running out of time on the show.
Yeah, 35 seconds.
But do you remember Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, which was kind of a spin-off of the movies?
Yeah,
it was a live-action Power Rangers style show.
I'm sure we're going to get to that as its own topic or as a topic with one of the Ninja Turtles
But
animated
I
series.
just want to mention they had Venus de Milo, which was the female turtle.
And she's Chinese. She wasn't Japanese.
right. I guarantee if I search Ninja Turtles porn, I'm going to get something
You're going
related
to get
to her.
Venus getting some penis.
Venus getting some penis.
Oh, man, I really wish I
10-inch
had some...
Mutant Ninja Turtles is literally the first result.
I wish I had some weed right now.
Yeah,
I could see some
there's-
naked April
yeah,
O'Neil.
I could
the
have
carpet
gone.
matches the curtains.
I could have gone my entire life.
And that's our show.
That's our show. I could have gone my entire life without seeing Michelangelo jizz on April O'Neil. But
Is that
now
you?
I've
Is
seen
that your
it.
phone making that
Yeah,
music?
that's my phone making that noise. All right, guys. So that was an episode. It went to some strange places. It started in some strange places,
It
but
never left.
Yeah, but Jack.
Stranger Things is actually about our show. It's just about stroking a token.
That's right. It happens in episode 9 of Stranger Things. Will Byers, stroking a token. That's it for this episode of 90s Percentile. I want to thank you guys for listening and watching on the Periscope. But Jack, before we close up shop tonight,
We're going to eat some bologna sandwiches.
I'm going to ask you, what did you learn today?
I learned that, honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to eat bologna ever again in my life unless I drown it in mustard.
That was not, you're not joking. I could tell that was a legit, like, a dry heave almost.
yeah.
Just the thought of bologna makes you want to
Yeah,
barf.
no,
Okay?
that wasn't a bit. I do gag.
Well, we don't do
very-
bits on this show.
I do gag very easily.
We don't do bits on this
I
show.
give bad head. That's what I learned.
That's right.
I learned I give bad head.
What have I learned? I learned, that you're very susceptible to baloney-based. I could just say baloney. You're just like my friend who cries when I play the music from Up. All I have to do is say baloney, and I can get you to barf.
There is a song that makes me teary-eyed automatically like that. It's not
Yeah.
the soundtrack from Up.
Right.
It's is it Chariots of Fire?
don't
know.
Yeah. I think it's the theme from Chariots of Fire.
That
yeah.
makes me cry sometimes because I don't know. Me and my sister had imaginary friends, and I killed off like this imaginary dolphin.
Like you do.
And I played that song to be like the sad music as it's dying.
Yeah.
And it made her cry. And then anyway, we have that. Both of us have that song tied in now. We both cry when we hear that song.
Well, that's another thing
Her
I've
dead
learned. then.
imaginary dolphin.
That's another learned thing today.
Except we don't go da 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 da. We go da 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 poon da da.
Poon da da.
That's just how we. That was the doo-wop word syllables we used.
Yeah, this is.
I didn't know what poon was at the time.
I can tell. Guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode of 90s Percentile. If you want more from us, you can go to wepodcast.com.
And no left foot. I didn't kill one of my imaginary friends. I killed one of hers.
Of course, naturally. Go to wepodcast.com, weepodcast.com. You can get all of our episodes are up there now. All of 90s Percentile, all of our Simpsons Show Worst Episode Ever is up there, and our sync points are all there. So go to wepodcast.com, and if you want to suggest a 90s topic, you can do that there as well.
Yeah, and I'm at Jackie No Breaks. If
Yeah,
you want to find me. And
absolutely. I'm at Then Dan Says. And the podcast as always, is at 90s Percentile.
And if you want to check out on my Facebook page, Use in a Sentence, I think. My old spelling homework still going strong. I in the beginning of the summer, I had automatically set all my posts for the summer, and I'm going to run out soon. And I probably should have added some more, and I'm probably not going to get around to it.
All right, so get them while you can.
Get them while you can.
And if you want to support the show, all you got to do is go to amazon.wepodcast.com, buy whatever you want, buy yourself something nice. We get a small cut of what you buy, and that helps keep the show free. And also, if you don't want to spend any money, what you do is you go on that iTunes. You go onto our podcast, and you rate us 5 stars or better.
Yeah, don't
no worse.
Pretend like we didn't almost throw up on air and talk a lot about masturbating
And it was recently brought to our attention that there are international listeners reviewing the show, that we were not looking at their reviews.
Yeah, well, apparently when we look at iTunes reviews, we only see United States reviews. And
by default.
And I think maybe if you're in another country, you might only see those, or maybe you also see the American ones. I don't know, but we missed. There's 4 or 5 we've missed, or maybe less.
Right. So we've got one here.
We want to read this one because he or she alerted us to this fact.
Right.
Ireland, 1992, and the review is the perfect balance of nostalgia. Do you still have any bologna sandwich left?
I have eaten all of the bologna.
I was going to say maybe I should try to eat it while I read this review.
Oh, God. You made the whole podcast without puking. Let's not do it now.
The perfect balance of nostalgia and hilarity. Superb. 5 stars by Ireland, 1992. It says, I was introduced to this podcast through the Worst Episode Ever podcast, parentheses, a must for any Simpsons fan, by the way, exclamation point, close parentheses. And we love people who use parentheses.
Love them. They're the best.
And it is just superb. Having been born in the 90s, it brought me right back to my childhood and some of my earliest and fondest memories, from Super Soakers to Robin Williams movies, and I'm assuming masturbating. And,
of course.
And porn. There's more. Oh, no. I took a screenshot, so I can't click the word more. So...
So tune in next week for part 2 of that 5-star review.
I would listen to Jack and Dan read and tune in next week.
And next week,
Dan will finish the review.
We're leaving with a cliffhanger. I love it. This is a new thing we're going to do from now on.
That's it. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we will see you in another decade.